did you say okay?
I'll tell you why I said it was okay. I had just come off a really traumatic musical experience. I had gotten a call from Lieber and Krebs management, and they said that Ted Nugent was thinking of changing drummers, and that I had been recommended by another drummer that Ted had, because the band Coventry that I had previous to Ginger had opened up for Ted Nugent a bunch of shows up and down the east coast of Florida. And so I said, great. They sent me a cassette of Ted's new record. I think it was Free for All at the time. And I learned the material, and they flew me to Ann Arbor, Michigan. And Ted used to rehearse in the basement of Al Nally Music in Ann Arbor. So I went down with my Ludwig set, the white set, and I learned the songs inside out, right? And everything was going great, and I'm going, I'm playing the songs, I got it down, and they said, okay, we'll let you know, and they put me in a Holiday Inn, and the next day I flew back to Fort Lauderdale, and then I got the call that I didn't get the gig, and I was like, because I thought this was going to be my big break, Ted Nugent, going to be my big break. I found out much later what had happened was that Cliff Davies was Ted's drummer and producer. And apparently Cliff wanted more money and more points. And he was English and went back to England. So Ted told me the story that he called up Cliff and he says, have you reconsidered? And Cliff says, no. And he goes, well, I got this kid, he knows the material, and he's ready to play. And apparently Cliff put on the brakes and said, well, no, let's discuss this further. And Ted's idea of discussing it was now paying him less money and took points away.
Oh, God.
But I didn't get the gig. So yeah. I was at the point where if you were the lead singer in Shatterstar, I would have said yes.
Well, I am glad that you said yes. And do we rehearse or not?
No, we didn't rehearse. As a matter of fact, what happened is you guys flew me to Chicago, to O'Hare. This is my first time at O'Hare Airport with my drums. And I remember that this is the days, before all the TSA and all the nonsense where, like, whoever was picking you up would meet you at the gate. And, like, you were wearing this, like, fur coat. I mean, you look like $1 million. I got to tell you, you look like such a rock star that I said to myself, whatever this guy's doing, I'm going to do too. And we went to, what was it, Rush West? Was that the?
Oh, yeah. Rush West.
Went to the Rush West, yes.
We got stories of the Rush West.
Oh, boy, do we have stories, yeah. Oh, we have a lot of stories. And so I went down and set up the drums because the venue was in the basement of a building. And I set up the drums, and we started working on the material. How your previous drummer found out that he was out of the band was when he came downstairs with his stick bag to do sound check.
Yeah, and realized that his drums are not on stage.
Not on stage, and there's another guy playing.
I know, because
with better hair than he had.
Well, we thought that the other guy, I thought that everybody else had already told him. I mean, he was rooming with me,
right?
And so, I never forget Steve's face. I mean, by the way, he's done really well.
Oh, good, because I was so uncomfortable in that situation because I assumed that
he's like a top studio designer.
Good for him.
Global studio designer.
Good for him.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I mean, and then again that night because he was sharing the room with me, he wanted to kill me. He got drunk on grenadine.
It takes a lot of grenadine to get a buzz.
He had a bottle of grenadine, and he kept. I'm laying in bed, and I'm looking at him. He's like hovering over me. I'm saying, "I'm gonna kick your goddamn teeth in. I hate you." And he's like drunk, and I'm going like, I can't go to sleep. I can't. I'm gonna wake up dead.
While you're going through this, you know who I was rooming with?
Oh, Roy?
No, Bob Marlette. And Bob Marlette was sitting on the end of the bed. I don't remember what he was drinking, may have been grenadine, but he was drunk, and he was questioning the validity of his playing, the validity of the music industry, the validity of life itself, and should he go in the closet and hang himself. So you're dealing with a guy that wants to kill you, and I'm dealing with a guy who wants to kill himself on the first night